Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent. Welcome to the channel, and if you're brand new here, then you should definitely look at that subscribe button and think about it, because we are going to be talking about my personal experiences and adventures going through these online games and trying to share that with you as well. Like, literally play with me. Join my Discord, and we'll be streaming, and we'll be having fun as well. And I want to actually romp through Final Fantasy XIV here coming soon. So yeah, I'm going to be playing the game. I asked you guys with a poll, and most of you said either tank or healer, probably healer, going into the new expansion especially. So I think I will be joining in as the support of the trio here. And if you guys want to jump into my party, then let's give it a shot. I'll be running through Final Fantasy XIV. So I will be playing it. Just know that. That is the check mark. Yep, I will be playing it. I'm excited to play it. I'm interested. But why haven't I so far? What has really been the things that just completely stopped me in my tracks? And, you know, from the perspective of a content creator who makes money covering MMOs, really, why? What's going on here? You think anybody and everybody would be talking about it a little bit, which they are now, but what has stopped people before, and especially me? Okay, so I'm just going to be really clean with this. It just comes out straight up immediately. There's nothing to really ramble about, which I love ranting, but no, basically, the day I stopped playing Final Fantasy XIV, while I wasn't having a tremendous, fun time, because the early game is pretty rough and slow, I could have really sat through it, and I did commit to it, and I even was donated in order to actually, be supported to play this whole review. Like, I know you guys wanted to see me play the whole game and review it. I know people would have watched it, and even still, even though I had every incentive to continue, the one thing that did stop me in the way that I was playing the game, which was I was streaming it, was because I was getting DMCA claimed and I was getting copyright claimed from either, I think it was the music or it was the cutscenes. It only happened during cutscenes, but basically those parts of my videos were getting muted and those videos were getting claimed, and I could not stream on Twitch. Basically, it was really scary for me to do that. And so that was basically the first thing where it's like, oh, whoa, that's not, that's kind of weird. That's not very consumer friendly. It's really, it just made it awkward to stream. And then I still ended up making videos past that, so I stopped streaming and stopped playing, but I still made videos talking about my experience. I did do a first impression, and, I've done some rant videos and included it in some list videos, because I'm aware of what it objectively does well, and I'm aware of what it do be like. But I couldn't really continue playing because, also being a content creator, Final Fantasy XIV is really hard to make look good. I don't know, if you guys just watch on YouTube, you might notice a lot of videos have a lot of fragmentation. Like, there's a lot of low quality videos on Final Fantasy, and that's not to the fault of the renderers or the editors or whoever's putting up the YouTube video. It's the way YouTube compresses videos, and when you have lots of different colors and particles on the screen, it clouds it, basically. It makes it really dusty looking and just kind of lowers the overall quality. Final Fantasy XIV just has a ton of that, which also plays into the gameplay. Yeah, I did think that a little bit kind of awkward to play this game because the effects are big, they're really uproarious, where other titles are a little bit more kept and clean, maybe like World of Warcraft, and a little bit Guild Wars too, though that has a little bit of a problem too. But mainly, as somebody who plays games to make videos, and as somebody who wants to sometimes have good editing, Final Fantasy XIV just was really hard for me. And if you, right now, the thing that I do is I use other people's footage that is royalty-free, and I use that in order to talk about it in terms of, an objective sense and put it in top 10s. But, even just finding videos that's of any sort of use, that looks kind of decent, that isn't just horrible menus, that just really slow-paced gameplay, finding any sort of usable good footage is kind of impossible for the most part. And I'm not complaining about other content creators, I'm just saying Final Fantasy XIV is not a very pretty game in motion most of the time, because it lacks a lot of motion, it lacks a lot of organic feel to it. Their UI is just, it's so bad, and not very customizable, and, just a number of things that I could really rant about, but it comes down to basically that the game doesn't look that good from a content creator's perspective, and somebody who wants to, invite people into these games. But then again, I'm trying to get over that, and maybe I'll just have to work extra hard about it, because I do want to play this game for selfish reasons. I want to play it for the story, I want to play it, I want to watch the cinematics, I want to learn what happens, I want to be a part of this epic, and I want to be a part of this community. And normally the way I do that is through videos. Guide videos or mostly reviews, and Final Fantasy XIV basically said, we don't want you. And in fact, this is mostly evident in another reason, we're just hammering the nail deeper and deeper, with their YouTube channel. If you just go to their YouTube channel, their trailers are very weird compared to basically anybody else's. It's almost like they aren't really referencing too many other games. They're kind of just doing their own thing, which was a detriment to the original Final Fantasy XIV. But at the same time, it's also kind of what makes this game special. But yeah, no, they turned off comments. You know, like-dislike ratio on all videos. It's all turned off. And that's just a little strange because the forums and the discussion is kind of why I play these games. Sometimes the fun of an MMO isn't always exactly inside of the game. Sometimes it's making videos or watching videos, or even in some of the worst games like Darkfall, it's the forums that are just legitimately the best part, which is why they call that game Forum Fall. So this sort of aspect just being gutted and completely ignored by the publishing team, you know, Square Enix, the developers of this game, it just sings to me that they don't know what makes an MMO really great. But then again, they do seem to be on point, and they are listening to their community of what makes Final Fantasy XIV good for people who like Final Fantasy XIV. Now, do I agree entirely with that philosophy? I'm not really sure. I think that it's really kind of baiting people who have addictive personalities and hyper-focusing a demographic in a genre that's about trying to get a ton of people to play with. But then again, Final Fantasy XIV is basically an online cooperative JRPG versus more of an MMO. There is a difference, there is a distinction. There are games like Eve, PlanetSide 2, and Albion, and then you have games like Modern World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, and a few other what I would deem single-player MMOs. And in the end, if you wanted this sort of more small, tight-knit community feel inside of a big MMO world that's still incredibly popular, the only games really is going to be like kind of Elder Scrolls Online, moving up to that. For the most part, it's gonna be Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, modern WoW, I think, is completely outcompeted by Final Fantasy XIV. As somebody who has not even really given it the benefit of the doubt most of the time, as somebody who has really just trashed the game, as an MMO, sure, I think I'm actually pretty objective. I think I'm pretty fair with that. But for what Final Fantasy XIV does, which is basically like, let's do WoW but better and also more unique and really hyper-focus on things that make that experience good, then yeah, it is the best. Where WoW is like hyper-focusing, and then at the same time they trail off and do rambles and rants about bullshit that nobody cares about. And yeah, so basically, WoW doesn't really know what it wants to do, even though its story is so epic and could be so good, its delivery is awkward, where Final Fantasy XIV's like, yeah, no, people are playing this like a JRPG with their friends, and we're gonna do that. So, nothing less, and only that, and we're gonna go the distance, because that's what's gonna keep people subscribed, you know, monthly, $14 a month, box copies every 2 years. Is it every 2 years? Yeah, so yeah, it's good money. Good money to keep people and selling these episodes of the story. So yeah, I think it's a smart plan. I think it's a smart business plan. I think people who enjoy Final Fantasy XIV are going to enjoy it, but overall, I'm looking to get into the game because I'm in a certain mentality to play it selfishly, which I still will share with you guys. But overall, you know, there's just some things about Final Fantasy XIV that to me scream, we're not making an MMO. That's basically it. This is not an MMO, and this is not a space that invites everyone. This is for particular players, for particular people, and I personally just have some problems with that, but at the same time, well, now I'm in the mindset to, yeah, I want to read a book. I want to read a cooperative book that has 3D graphics, magic, and spells, and dragons, and all sorts of weird bullshit. You know, let's go kill God. That's what I'm in the mood to do. Let's all go kill God together. So, yeah, anyways, I think that was a quick video. I mean, there really wasn't too many reasons, and it was hyper-specific to me, but I think you'll find a lot of people have trouble getting into Final Fantasy XIV because there's not enough clear, elucidative, like, gameplay that just visually shows how impactful this game can be, how fun it can be. You really have to dig in and do research and kind of look through a lot of ugly videos to get to it. And I think that, yeah, frankly, there is a lot of videos that are quite unprofessional when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV, and overall the game lacks a lot of that organic feel that comes from maybe some older MMOs, versus this modern style of MMO, but depends on tastes. And frankly, I think most of us at the moment, yeah, you know what, we're just in the mood for this. Whatever this game has to offer, we'll play this, and then we'll get that real juicy MMO vibe from maybe Riot's new MMO, or maybe Ashes of Creation. That's okay. There's definitely room in the MMO space for different types of experiences, different types of games, and definitely different types of people. It's just, in the end, I've taken so long to get into this game because most about the game and what it advertises as and how it presents itself is like, we want a certain type of player. And at the same time, maybe it's been a double-edged sword but maybe it's made one edge incredibly sharp. And so for all the anime lovers, the role players, and those who enjoy like reading books and stories and just general JRPG gameplay, but also a little bit of with that socialness, with a friendly community, that's going to be Final Fantasy XIV. And in this space where MMOs are so toxic, maybe we do need this safer, more focused community here. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. These were my reasons why I didn't play, and maybe a little bit why I want to play. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts and feelings, and please play with me. Join my Discord, subscribe, all that good stupid YouTube stuff. Much love though. I'll see you in the next one.